Please accept my mega obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्टकी. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 18, Lord Vamandeva, the Dwarf Incarnation, verse 12 to 22. Text 12. The Lord appeared in his original form with ornaments and weapon in his hands. Although this ever existing form is not visible in the material world, he nonetheless appeared in this form. Then, in the presence of his father and mother, he assumed the form of Vamana, a Brahmana dwarf, a brahmachari, just like a theatrical actor. Text 13. When the great sages saw the Lord as the brahmachari dwarf Vamana, they were certainly very pleased. Thus they placed before them Kashyapa Muni, the Prajapati, and performed all the ritualistic ceremonies such as the birthday ceremony. Text 14. As the sacred thread ceremony of Vamandeva, the sun god personally uttered the Gayatri Mantra. Brahspati offered the sacred thread, and Kashyapa Muni offered a straw belt. Text 15. Mother Earth gave him a deer skin, and the demigod of the moon, who is the king of the forest, gave him a Brahmadanda, the rod of Brahmachari. His mother Aditi gave him cloth for underwear, and the deity presiding over the heavenly kingdom offered him as an umbrella. Text 16. O king, Lord Brahma offered a water pot in the inexhaustible supreme personality of Godhead. The seven sages offered him kusha grass, and Mother Saraswati gave him a string of Rudraksha beads. Text 17. When Vamanadeva had thus been given the sacred thread, Kuvera, king of the Yakshas, gave him a pot for begging alms, and Mother Bhagavati, the wife of Lord Shiva and most chaste mother of the entire universe, gave him his first arm. Text 18. Having thus been welcomed by everyone, Lord Vamandeva, the best of the brahmacharis, exhibited his Brahman effulgence. Thus he surpassed in beauty that entire assembly, which was filled with great saintly Brahmanas. Text 19. After Lord Shri Vamandeva set a sacrificial fire, he offered worship and performed a fire sacrifice on the sacrificial land. Text 20. When the Lord heard that Bali Maharaj was performing Ashwamedh sacrifices under the patronage of Brahmanas belonging to the Bhrigu dynasty, the Supreme Lord, who is full in every respect, proceeded there to show his mercy to Bali Maharaj. By his weight, he pushed down the earth with every step. Text 21. While engaged in performing the sacrifice in the field known as Bhrigu Kacha on the northern bank of the Narmada river, the Brahminical priests, the descendants of Bhrigu, saw Vamandeva to be like the sun rising nearby. Text 22. O king, because of Vamandeva's bright effulgence, the priest, along with the Bali Maharaj and all the members of the assembly, were robbed of their splendor. Thus they begin to ask one another whether the sun god himself, Sanat Kumara, or the fire god had personally came to see the sacrificial ceremony. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for reading the translation. Hare Krishna. Krishna Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisances. All the Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining for today's Bhagavatam session. And thank you, Shivani Mataji, for reading today's Bhagavatam section slokas translation. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th Canto, 18th chapter, Lord Vamana Deva, the dwarf incarnation, slokas 12 to 22. Thank you, Radharani Mataji and Sundarananda Prabhu, for giving this opportunity so that I can share a few points from Srila Prabhupada's purports and what I heard from the previous devotees for my own purification. So we'll start with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पश्चात्तदेशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are in the section of Lord Vamandev appearance. Just to give a background, so after the churning of milk ocean happened, nectar was produced, and Krishna in the form of Mother Mohini incarnation. So she distributed all the nectar to the demigods, and demons were unhappy, and there is a great battle, and in that Bali Maharaj was killed, and Indra is victorious, and Sukracharya revived Bali Maharaj's life, and Bali Maharaj then served Sukracharya with all attention and then pleased Sukracharya. And Sukracharya being pleased, he made Bali Maharaj to perform Visvajit Yajna, and due to that and the blessings and mercy of his Guru and Brahmanas and Prahlad Maharaj, so Bali Maharaj attacked Indrapuri, and all the demigods, on the advice of their spiritual master Brahaspati, they left the heavenly planets and moved in invisible form. So, of course, Mother Aditi was very morose, feeling separation from her sons. So she requested her husband Kashyap Prajapati, Kashyap Muni, to show some way. So, and Kashyap Prajapati suggested to perform this Payovrata so that her desires can be fulfilled. And we heard in the last chapter, after Mother Aditi performed Payovrata ceremony, Supreme Lord appeared before her, and Aditi, seeing that Supreme Lord with great ecstatic love, she offered many wonderful prayers. And then Supreme Lord, being pleased with Mother Aditi and being pleased with Kashyap Muni's austerities, so he agreed to become their son. And on the advice of the Supreme Lord, Mother Aditi engaged in the service of Kashyap Muni, and Kashyap Muni could see that Lord was within him, so he placed his semen in the womb of Aditi, and Brahma understood and that Krishna is appearing now, entered in the Aditi's womb, so he offered prayers to the Lord. So in this chapter, so far we heard from Hare Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, very nicely summarized. So Lord Vamandev initially appeared in the womb, from the womb of Aditi, equipped with all the his weapons like conch, shell, disc, club, lotus, and everything. And then he appeared at the auspicious moment, Shravana Deva Dwadasi, and with the Abhijit star. When he appeared, all the three worlds, like the demigods, cows, brahmanas, so everyone was very happy. So um, now we see that after Lord appeared, so what are all the things happen? So we'll continue from sloka 12 to 22 today. In the sloka 12, see that Lord appeared in his original form. And then we also see that in the presence of his father and mother, he assumed the form of Vamana, the Brahmana dwarf, a brahmachari, just like a theatrical actor. So, and Prabhupada stresses this word nataha. So, how an actor he changes his dress to play different parts in the movie or drama like that, but he is the same man. So similarly, Prabhupada mentions and quotes Brahma Samhita that so Lord assumes unlimited or many thousands and millions of forms. So Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupa. So Adyam Purana Purusha. So Lord appears in many forms, but is the same personality. So and Prabhupada also quotes that his incarnations are innumerable. Ramadi Murteshu Kalani Menatistan Nana Avataram. So it's innumerable incarnations. And we hear that it is compared that Krishna's incarnations are coming like waves in the ocean. So how the waves in the ocean are coming continuously, one after another, and it is not possible for us to count also. So similarly, Krishna's incarnations are coming one after one. They're all, they're unlimited. And at the same time, he is the same personality. So that's when Lord Brahma, in his Brahma Samhita prayers, he says that they're not different from one another. So Deepacharya Vahi Dashantaram Abhyupetye Deepayate Vivarta Hetu Samana Dharma. So though Krishna is appearing in many incarnations, like how one candle light, when you use to that candle light to lighten up many other candles. So although they are burning separately, but they are having same quality. So similarly, though Krishna expanded in many forms, but they're all samana dharma. So they're all qualitatively and quantitatively same, like same person appearing in various forms. So here also we see that so Krishna appeared in first in the four hands, original forms with ornaments, weapons in his hands, but later in the presence of his father and mother, he assumed a form of Vamana. So it changed. So in any form, he has all the six opulences completely. Of course, in some forms, he may be exhibiting all his opulences. In some forms, he may not be exhibiting it all opulences, but that doesn't mean that he is one form is less than the other form like that. He has all the opulences, but he controls what opulence to exhibit and what not like that. So here, Prabhupada also mentions that Krishna changing the form from four hands to the immediately to the Vamana form. So means that his body is not material. So his body is Sachidananda Vigraha, completely spiritual. And of course, we see that in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna mentions that whoever thinks the Supreme Lord, when he assumes or when he incarnates into this material world, if somebody thinks that he also has a material body, then they are not intelligent. Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanumasthitim. Like Krishna says that, the fools, they do not know that he is coming in a spiritual form. So that's why Krishna says that his appearance and his activities are transcendental. So Janma Karma Chame Divyam. So they are all transcendental. So whenever Krishna comes into this material world, he comes in his original form. Sambhavami Atmamaya. So he comes in his original form, Sachidananda Vigraha. So not like a conditioned living entity like me, who is forcefully accept a material body based on our previous karma. Not like that. So one should not be mistaken. So that's why Prabhupada stresses that. And then, so after he turned into as a Vamana or a Brahmachari, so then the great sages, they saw the Lord Vamana. So they were very pleased. And then they placed before them Kashyap Muni. And they performed all ritualistic ceremonies, such as the birthday ceremony. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that according to the Vedic civilizations, when a child is born, especially in the family of Brahmana, like we have four Varnas, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So those, especially in the family of Brahmana, then this samskara will be performed, the birthday ceremony, like known as Jata Karma. So that is performed. And of course, other ceremonies also performed as the age progresses. But in this case, Vaman Dev, immediately he appeared as a brahmachari. So even the sacred thread ceremony also performed. So sacred thread ceremony also performed. And we see that there are many samskaras or ceremonies that are prescribed in the scriptures. But of course, there are 16 principal samskaras that are suggested, starting with Garbhadana samskara, like Jata Karma, Namakarana, and then Annaprasana or Vidyaramba, like that, and it ends with Antyesti, like the final rites. So that's why it is said that anyone who is born at that time Janmana Jayate Sudra. So as soon as one is born, they are actually Sudra, their category into the Sudra category. But samskara dvijachate, like by these samskaras purificatory process, one will be elevated to dvija. Of course, their qualities and activities are also enhanced. So that's why these samskaras are specifically performed in the higher varnas, like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, like that, especially in Brahmana, it's like that. The sacred thread ceremony and then sending to the boy to Veda Patasala as a brahmachari, and the boy also accepts the guru. So in that way he gets a second birth. So he'll become as a dvija. But the people who belongs to the Sudra, usually at that time, they don't plan for education. So they don't go through that brahmachara ashrama. So they directly go to the grahastha ashrama, like that. But of course, we see that as Kali Yuga progresses, so all these samskaras are neglected. So that's why sometimes we hear that in the scriptures it is mentioned Kalau Sudra Sambhava. So in Kali Yuga, mostly um, people are into the category of Sudra. So that's why Krishna very mercifully given this simple process, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, so that one can make their human life successful. And then we see that after the sacred third ceremony, during the sacred third ceremony, sun god personally gave or uttered the Gayatri mantra. So Savitrim, the Gayatri mantra. So who uttered? Savita, sun god chanted. So, and Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita that he is the Gayatri verse. Gayatri Chandasa Maham. Like when he says that of poetry, I am the Gayatri verse. So when one chants the Gayatri mantra, he is gradually delivered from the clutches of Maya. So from the material desires. That's why even in when somebody gets a second initiation in this Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, ISKCON, so they will be given this Gayatri mantra also to chant. Of course, Krishna Prema will be achieved, can be achieved. So if we chant the holy name without offenses, like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, like without offenses, if somebody chances that Krishna Prema will be achieved. But a jiva like me in this material world, since I am not pure, and most of the time my chanting could be with offenses. So that's why this Gayatri mantra could help us. It will help us to get rid of these material desires, whatever we have, and also it purifies the anarthas. And also it is required to perform the deity worship. And of course, deity worship is also a very powerful process. It helps to purify the heart. We see that there are two ways to approach the Supreme Lord. Like one is the Bhagavata Marga, another is the Pancharatrika Vidhi. So like chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is in the Bhagavata Marga, and chanting of Gayatri Mantra belongs to the Pancharatrika Marga. And Prabhupada mentions that so one process will help other process to perform better. Of course, one is performing the Bhagavata Marga very attentively and sincerely and seriously, then they're already in a elevated situation. But a Baddha Jivi like me, so if I'm not properly able to follow this Bhagavata Marga, then adding this Pancharatrika Marga also will help my Bhagavata Marga to perform better. So, though the Bhagavata Marga is superior than Pancharatrika Vidhi, but if I'm not able to constantly and continuously engaged in the Bhagavata Marga, this Pancharatrika Vidhi help to reach the Bhagavata Marga or to enhance our Bhagavata Marga or help us to advance in the Bhagavata Marga. So that's why this Gayatri Mantra is also given, one who has got second initiation in this process of Krishna consciousness. And then we hear that Bruhaspati offered sacred thread, Egnopavita, so Brahma Sutram. So of course, this Egnopavita symbolizes purity, duty, and spiritual awakening. And it is a reminder to live a life aligned with the Dharma. So as soon as we see that this Egnopavita, so whoever is wearing, so their consciousness it is a reminder for them that to live their life aligned with Dharma. So it shows the great responsibility that they have to carry on, so that they have to be pure enough. Their activity should be aligned with Dharma, like that. And then the next couple of slokas, we see that which great personality uh, gave as a gift to Lord Vamandeva. Like Mother Earth gave the deer skin, and the moon demigod gave Brahmadhanda, and Mother Aditi gave a cloth for underwear, and the deity preceding over the heavenly kingdom offered an umbrella, like that. And then Brahma offered a water pot, and then 7 sages offered a kusha grass, and Mother Saraswati gave Rudraksha beads, like that. And in the 17th sloka, we see that the king of Akshas, Kuvera, he gave him a pot for begging alms. Because generally brahmacharis, they will not be working. They are not supposed to work like grahasthas, because they are focused in studying Vedic literature, and they spend most of their time for that purpose. And they perform a menial service to Guru and follow the Guru's instructions as it is. So that's why they will be given this begging pot, so that they can beg from grosthas for their day-to-day maintenance. Of course, whatever they get it from the grosthas as a donation, so they will take that everything and give it to the Guru, and Guru Gupatni will cook everything, and then after they honor the prasadam, then they will ask their disciples or brahmacharis to honor the prasadam, like that. So that's why these brahmacharis need this begging pot. And also we see that in these 4 varnas, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, grihasthas plays very important role, because they support all 3 ashramas. Like the brahmacharis, vanaprasthas, sannyas, they don't work to gain some wealth for their day-to-day maintenance. That's why grihasthas need to support the all 3 varnas, so that brahmacharis can nicely be trained, and then when they are interested into become grihastha, so they can lead the grihastha life in a dharmic way. And vanaprasthas and sannyas, they can help grihasthas to advance in Krishna consciousness. So they can give this wonderful spiritual knowledge, so that grihasthas also can stay in the grihastha ashrama and then make their human life successful, like that. And then in the 18th sloka, we see that Vamandev, having this welcomed by everyone, exhibited Brahman effulgence, and his beauty surpassed the entire assembly. So we see that here, Vamandev's beauty, the opulence of beauty is exhibited here. So, and we hear that, Krishna has these 6 opulences in full. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasriya, Gnana, Vairagyasya. Like, all these 6 opulence are full. And here Vamandev exhibiting the opulence of beauty. Of course, that doesn't mean that other opulences are not in full, or it doesn't have it. So he can exhibit whenever it is required, or whenever it is needed. So he controls what opulence to exhibit when, and and when not, like that. And then in the 19th sloka, Vamandev set a sacrifice for, he offered worship and performed a fire sacrifice. So because now he got the sacred ceremony is completed, so he performed a fire sacrifice. And then in 20th sloka, we see that Lord, after hearing that Bali Maharaj is performing Ashwamedha sacrifice, Brahmanas belonging to the Bhrugu dynasty, So he proceeded there to show his mercy to Bali Maharaj. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the Supreme Lord is Akila Sara Sambrita. So he's the proprietor of everything. And Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Mattam Sarva Pravartate. Like, everything is coming from him. Like either spiritual worlds or material worlds, everything, he is the owner of it. Sarvaloka Maheshwar. So he is the owner of all the planets in this universe also. So, and Prabhupada mentions that although Lord is going to Bali Maharaj to beg something, but he is always complete, has nothing to beg from anyone like that. And Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita, am I right? Name padhasi kartavyam. He says that there is no work prescribed for me within all these three planet system, nor he want anything or nor he need anything. So like that. So Krishna doesn't need anything. Like, whatever we offer, it is actually for our own purification. And Krishna is mercifully accepts when a devotee offers with love and devotion. And here we see that, how powerful he is. By his weight, he pushed down the earth with every step. So much powerful like that. And we see that, here he went for the purpose of showing his mercy to Bali Maharaj. We don't see Bali Maharaj exhibiting or we don't hear Bali Maharaj's pure devotional activities before this. But since Prahlad Maharaj prayed to Krishna to show his mercy to Bali Maharaj, so Lord Vaman Devi is going here to show his mercy to Bali Maharaj so that he can be elevated and situated in pure devotion service. So this is another instruction when we have when we are in the association of the devotees, or when we have a close members. The devotees are very close members for us, like friends and family members. Then they can pray for us. They pray for us. To the Supreme Lord, that we can be elevated. Like we see that, many mothers and fathers, father and mother might be praying for their kids to show Krishna's mercy on them so that they can also be connected to the process of Krishna consciousness. So their prayers will be heard. Like here, Prahlad Maharaj's prayers are heard, and here Vaman Dev is going to show his mercy to Bali Maharaj so that he can be elevated. So that's the power of being in association of the devotees, or being connected to the devotees. So the devotees' prayers will help us, and they advise us, or they give suggestions. They can inspire us to progress in the path of bhakti, so that we can make our human life successful. And in the 21 sloka, we see that while engaged in performing the sacrifice, field known as Bhrugacha, it is said that one of the Satyarishi Bhrugu, he performed tapasya on the northern bank of Narmada River. So that's why this place is known as Bhrugacha. And he has his ashrama also here. And Brahmanical priests, the descendants of Bhrugu, they are living here, like, the lineage of Bhrugu Muni are the descendants of Bhrugu. They're called as Bhrugavaha. So all in the Vedic civilization, so when one is trying to introduce themselves, actually they starts with their lineage. So they will mention the Gotra, and they will specify, like, to whom they are connected. So particular Rishi or Prajapati, like, that lineage they are coming, like that. So they will introduce oneself like that, so that it stresses that that person is carrying what kind of responsibility, like, because their previous generations are so great personalities, so it reminds them that, uh, they are carrying that responsibility, so that one can become humble and make their activities in such a way that they are aligned with their these great personalities. Of course, when one practicing Krishna consciousness, one introduce themselves in the Krishna conscious way is Gopi Bhartur Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasa. So that is the mood that a sadhaka should develop. because we belong to the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and Mahaprabhu mentioned that this is the mood that one should develop. We should develop like, we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is the maintainer of the gopis. So here we see that the descendants of Bhrigu, like Sukracharya and others, they presented in the Yajna. They saw Lord Vamandev. And then in that last sloka for the today, so here we see that Vamandev's bright effulgence, because of that, along with Bali Maharaj and all the members of assembly, they were robbed their splendor, and they began to ask one another, whether it's the sun god or Sanat Kumar, the fire god. So I'd personally come to see the sacrificial ceremony like that. So here we see that, all these great personalities, like, the descendants of Bhrigu or Sukracharya, at this moment, they were not able to recognize Lord Vamandeva as the Supreme Lord. So instead, they are thinking that he is a Surya, sun god, or Vibhavasu, the fire god, or Sanat Kumara, like that. So why they are not able to recognize at this moment? Because one is, if one is not completely surrendered, then they will not be able to recognize the Supreme Lord at that moment. So similarly, if I am not completely surrendered, then how can I be able to recognize Supreme Lord even though he appears? So that is one quality or one thing that as a sadhaka I should try to develop to advance in my surrender, or try to surrender completely. So if we progress that, then Krishna Prema will be developed, and then Prema Anjana Churita, like, our eyes will be anointed with the love of Godhead, then we'll be able to recognize the Supreme Lord as soon as they one can see. Of course, Krishna also reveals to those personalities. Those are a few things that I thought to share here. Thank you all for giving this opportunity. I'll pause it here. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhya Vaishnavabhya namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you all.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.